Welcome to the Sorare Assist podcast, where we dive into the thrilling world of fantasy football management. I'm your host, Adam, and in each episode we'll be exploring the strategies, stories, and experiences of passionate Sorare managers like you. So make sure you subscribe and leave a review. You can also follow me, of course, on Twitter, Facebook, and of course, YouTube. Links are all in the description of this podcast. Right, so today I'm joined by Wakey Academy, who's the manager of Wakey Academy on Sorare as well. So welcome, Wakey, I think you would like to be called normally.
That's right. Hi, Adam.
Thanks for joining me today. Let's get stuck into some questions then. So we'll start with some quick fire questions then. So what team do you support then?
I'm actually a Liverpool fan.
Liverpool.
Don't ask me why. Don't ask me why.
Oh, they're not doing very good recently, are they?
No, it's a bit of a sore point at the moment, but especially missing out to Man United because all my family are Manchester United fans. So
I'm a Manchester United fan as well.
Oh, for God's sake, turn it off.
Do you want to stop the podcast now? Yeah, so at least you've got Europa League next season.
Thanks for that. Yeah, that's rubbing it in quite nicely. Yeah.
Okay, so, well, never mind being a Liverpool supporter. It could only get better, I suppose, from here. So, so in terms of your Sorare gallery then, how many rares and limiteds have you got?
Yeah, I've just moved into rares. I've got it in the screen in front of me, but I've got 34 limited now because I've cut down just last night.
Wow.
I started, I had a good collection. I've cut it down because I thought they're just getting wasted, the cards.
Yeah.
And the percentage for the collections wasn't really doing any justice for what I was using. So
yeah,
I've cut down to 34 limiteds and only 9 rares.
Right, okay, right, that's good.
Small
so you're
gallery.
Thinking of maybe transitioning more into rares then? Is that where you're looking to focus on a little bit more if possible?
Yeah, I mean, I was wanting to go into rares because I've had rares in the past before the limiteds even came out, if you remember, 2 years ago when I first started. They came out about a year later, didn't they, I think? Yeah. And I jumped straight into limiteds. I moved all my rares and went into limiteds. And now as I saw all the prices crashing down and things, I thought I might be better getting into the rares because there's less of them. So, that eventually I think the prices will fly up again. Yeah.
I've recently sold off a lot of limiteds because, like you say, there's a lot that I want using really. And it's surprising how much you can free up, how much funds you can free up if you sell some of the limiteds that you're not using. You can free up quite a lot of Ethereum, can't you?
Yeah, I mean, the thing with my rares is I'm trying to get now a threshold team. I've got the 9, but I might even cut that down to like 7. And then I've just got a limited team, which I want to be quite strong.
Yeah.
At the moment, I've just got like a load of players scattered all over the place. And we'll come to that later, probably, when you talk about strategy and stuff. But I want to get like a really strong team, or maybe 2 strong limited teams, and then the rare team, try and win a few thresholds and then build up on the limiteds, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's best to, if you've not got that many limiteds, it's probably best to focus all your strong cards on one team, isn't it? Yeah, definitely. Yeah. 1 or 2 teams. Brilliant. Okay, what's your favourite card in your collection then?
Oh, my collection, I think
Is there anyone that you wouldn't want to sell?
Well, it's weird because he's my favourite card. He's probably Paqueta. I've got him as a rare and a limited, or I did have. I don't know if I sold one last night, but it's just like a blur last night selling players and stuff. But I think Paqueta's my favourite. But because he's been sold now, he's going to Cologne, isn't he? I think next season, so he'll be in Bundesliga rather than Bundesliga 2.
Oh, is that where he's got? Right, okay.
Yes. So I'm not sure if his scores are going to dip a little bit, or whether he'll be taking like free kicks or be as involved in the goals. And so I'm sort of thinking, do I get rid of him and make quite a bit of chunk there? And he might be one of the 9 that I sell to get down to 7 again, and they can build up on my limited keepers, which I'm trying to get hold of at the moment.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, Paqueta's probably my favourite card.
Right. Okay. Yeah. No, I think he should do all right next season if he starts and that.
Well, yeah. I mean, he hasn't sold, so no one's. It's really hard to sell at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. It is. It is. Okay. So, have you had any podiums then? Have you achieved any podiums?
Unfortunately, not. I came close not long back. It was my first time I ventured into the rares, and I went with my 2nd division team. And I was sitting in, I think it was like 8th or 10th place, and I still had Ethan Horvath still to play. It was the last game of the season. Before the playoffs, it was the last game of the season, so I sat there, and it was the last game as well, and they dropped him. So he didn't play, and I ended up in about 70th or 80th in the end. Yeah, so that was quite a bad day. That.
Oh, not good, not good. I've had a few, not too many, but I've had a few.
Were they limiteds or rares?
Limiteds.
Limited. Okay.
Don't think I've ever had a
But
rare.
that's even
Podium.
harder, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's even harder to do.
limiteds.
So
Yeah, limiteds is even harder. Yeah, I'd say it is actually. Yeah, because there's
that's
that
quite
many
good. That, well
cards.
done.
There are that many cards now, aren't they? But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that. I can't remember what I got. I think I got Sane one time when the prices
I
were
was just
really
going to say, what
high.
did you win? Can you remember?
Yeah, I got Sane. My first one was Sane that I won. I think at the time his
Yeah.
card was selling for about, I think it was about £500, something silly like that.
Oh my gosh, it's a
But then
while back then.
but then he went on a real bad run of form after I'd won
Yeah.
him, and his price
I mean,
obviously.
I got the best card I'd won was a Phil Foden. I came something like sixth, I think it was, in the Premier Challenge.
Yeah.
I think it was all limited. You know, when you get the Premier Pro, was it Premier Pro's
Oh
270?
yeah.
And I came in sixth in that, which was good. That's when Liverpool beat Man
Wow.
United. Was it 7-0, was it?
That doesn't happen, does
And
it
I have my
nowadays?
Liverpool collection, and Henderson got an assist as well. He'd never got that, so Henderson getting an assist was good.
Oh
But yeah,
right.
that was my best day, I think.
Yeah, I bet it was. Yeah, beating United. Yeah, thanks
And
for
getting a Foden.
that. Okay then. So, the next question then. So, what's your current gallery value then at the
Oh,
time
it's nothing now.
of recording?
Yeah,
Just
I'm
so people have an idea of
824.
how big your gallery is.
Yeah, I'm a small gallery. I always was. My gallery at the moment is under £1,000. It's 824 or 0.54 ETH.
Right. Okay.
And the gallery hasn't changed that much value wise, but obviously the card values have gone down.
Yeah.
So I was sitting at about £4.5 to £5 when I first came on. That's what I wanted to build up to. And then I'd take out a profit over that. So I didn't want to go over like the £5. I was taking
Yeah.
profit out. And I've ended up now, it's under £1,000. So that's how much the prices have dropped as
Yeah,
such.
they've dropped loads, haven't they? They've dropped loads recently. Yeah,
Yeah,
same
it's
for me,
great for
really.
starting now,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Oh,
If
it
you
is
start now and you put
definitely.
like £1,000 in, it could change again and go up maybe to, I don't know,
Yeah.
3-4 grand.
Yeah, I think the European prices will definitely go up. If you look at the prices of the MLS players at the minute, probably won't reach what it was at
Yeah,
before, but I think
yeah,
we
I can't.
will see a bit of a spike in the
But even
European
if it
players.
doubles, yeah, if it
Yeah,
doubles, it'd be
that's
good.
good. Yeah, but to be honest, I think the price that they're at now for the limiteds anyway is probably a good sort of price range, I would say, for most players to
Yeah,
enter. It's a bit more sensible. It's a bit silly when the
yeah,
prices were like £1,000 for one of the players or something.
yeah. I
Hmm.
mean, it's a bit like now with some of the limiteds now. It's a bit like playing commons because they're that cheap. You know, you
Yeah,
can pick up players for like £3, and you think, oh my god, remember when they were like 200 or 300 quid?
you can, yeah.
Yeah,
And I was thinking about maybe it's a viable strategy to potentially buy each game week. So
yeah. I mean,
yeah, potentially. It's just selling them at the same price that you bought them at and things like that as well.
exactly. Yeah. Now with the tax on there as well, you got the 5% to try and
Yeah, there's
sell
the
as well. So
tax, yeah. But
and the
when
selling, I
that's
thought it'd be a lot easier to sell, but it's not. It's quite hard, isn't it? Because no one's putting anything up for sale because they'll lose the percentage on the card for collections. So it's quite hard that.
that's it, yeah. There is that. There is that now. Okay, so what is your favourite card win then so far? Is there any
I think it's
particular
the
card that you've
Foden.
won?
Yeah,
Foden one.
I
The
think it was the
Foden,
Phil
yeah, it has
Foden.
to be, doesn't it? Yeah. Quality
At the
player as
time, he
well.
was about 100 quid.
Right, okay. Yeah. But he's a good
But
player as well. Obviously, he's young as well.
yeah, I think the problem I have is that because I used to be a scout on the
Yeah.
academy, but I used to be a scout, so I see players on the pitch which I know are
Yeah.
good, but it doesn't relate to what happens on Sorare.
Yeah. Yeah.
Players like Foden and Thiago, one of my favourite players, Thiago, but he's crap on Sorare. You'd never get him because he's either injured or gets a low score. It just doesn't work out. On the pitch, he's class, absolute class.
Yeah. If I dare mention it, for those people who used to play Football Index, he was good on the Football Index, wasn't he?
Yes, and
Thiago.
I bought quite a lot of them towards the end, just before it
Oh,
completely
sorry.
fell apart. Yeah,
Probably should have mentioned that
but,
then. Anyway, we'll
yeah,
move on
Football
then.
Index was good.
Yeah. So have you got any memorable moments then from playing Sorare Fantasy Football, from watching the matches? I suppose the Liverpool one that you've already mentioned is probably one of them.
Yeah, that
where
was
you've
that was a top one because I didn't expect that, and I sort of chucked Henderson in at the last sort of second as well, and thought he doesn't get anything, but at least he's going to play. And then when he
Yeah.
got that assist as well from the free kick. But other than that, I like the River Plate games. I had squad of River Plate players once when Alvarez was there.
Right, okay.
And Enzo Fernandez was there, and Enzo Perez. And I used to sit up at night watching that. It was like having an affair. Because you sat in the bed watching your telly and, going, yes, go on. And it was in Spanish as well or something. So I couldn't understand what they were saying. It was just, oh.
That's what Sorare does to you, isn't it? Moment. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, good. And so how has Sorare impacted your overall interest and engagement in real world football then? Suppose you answered that a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, I was always Premier League. I didn't know much about the Championship even. I'd studied teams when they came up into the Premier League. And, Germany I used to follow because of FI, because of the Football Index. I used to follow Germany quite a bit. And I had an overall good, how would you put it? A good knowledge of players abroad and in Europe and that. But then I started on Sorare and I was watching the South Korean games. And I didn't understand them. I didn't know the names because all the names were pretty much the same, weren't they?
They're similar. Yeah, they are. In Korea,
you try and look them up and what score to get, and you think, well, which one is it? Because when you look on flash scores and stuff, it only puts them down as the surname. Yeah. So you don't know which one's which. You can't remember who's playing.
Yeah, you sometimes think your players scored and they haven't. Yeah. The other one.
But then when you've been on for a while now and you started to watch games, you're getting up in the morning or late at night and you're watching them. And I think now I've got quite a good grounding on all the players in most divisions now. And obviously from watching videos on YouTube and stuff and watching other people make videos, I think I've got an overall good grasp of it all. And I can put a decent team now from Asia. I could put a decent American team out, just from watching people do stuff. But I like to study as well. I like the analytics. I like the stats and stuff as well.
That's right. And there's probably a lot of players on the South Korean league that are probably really good, but not showing that potential on Sorare as well, like you mentioned with Thiago.
Yeah. I mean, you can watch some and you think, Christ, who's this player here? He looks really good. But, you go on Sorare and you look at his record and he doesn't look that good. His record. It's missing.
Okay, is there any specific player cards or clubs that you're particularly passionate about collecting on Sorare apart from the club you support?
Yes, St. Pauli was the big one. Now I started to look at clubs about who I could get because when the stacks came out and this the collecting came out, I was thinking who can I go for? That would be okay. And by the time I was doing this, the leagues hadn't finished and there was like 5 games left, I think. So I was looking at the Bundesliga 2. And I didn't go for Heidenheim. I didn't go for, I can't remember, he's at the top now. He's just gone up.
Darmstadt. Second, yeah.
Yeah, Darmstadt, wasn't it? So I didn't look at any of them players. And I thought that Hamburg might get into the playoffs. So I went like the next clubs down. So there's some players down there in the second division that I absolutely love. The likes of, I've written them down even here, but Tobias Kemp. I don't know if you know Tobias Kemp.
No, don't know.
What a player this guy is.
Right.
He got injured, I think, for a long time. He was out of the team and then he started to come back and got some good scores again. But if you look at his history, Tobias Kemp, wow, some good scores there.
Oh, right. One for next season, maybe then.
Possibly. I don't know how old I can't remember how old he's now. But and Philip Clement is another one.
Oh, I've heard of him. I had his card for a bit.
Yeah. Clement was out for a while. He's come back and hit like an 80 and 100, I think.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, he'd been injured for a while, but he had really good scores. He was like his L40, were like up in the 50s and 60s. And I thought this guy must be good. So I started looking at him and studying him. And yeah, he's well worth having. I think undervalued, very undervalued.
Right, okay.
But yeah, and St. Paul is the one that I like because they were like 5th in the league at the time. Didn't look like they would go up, and they had some really good players.
Yeah.
So I started studying them and did a video on them as well. So really good team, really like them.
Good. All right, a few there for people to scout out potentially for next season. Okay, so can you share any strategies for building a successful Sorare fantasy team?
You know what? I have had so many strategies in my head, and I think that's one of the reasons that my gallery is not going up massively in value because I keep changing my mind. I know it's an ever-changing game, isn't it? And it's fluid. But it's like, they'll bring something else out, so I change my strategy, and then they'll bring something else out, so I change it again. If I'd have just stuck with what I had the very first time, I'd be laughing now. All them players that you look at and scout at under 23, and you think, look where they are now.
Yeah. And you had loads, didn't you? You had loads of under 23 players at one point.
Yeah, and do you know what, though, as well, Adam? I sort of missed that. Now, even though I've got a threshold team, the whole game's a bit of fun as well, isn't it? Sorare sort of brings fun to you. Yeah, and the watching and making it more engaging. And I sort of missed the under-23s, even though some of them weren't playing.
Yeah.
The whole strategy that I used to have was like build the under-23s. So I'd get like 17, 18-year-olds that a lot of people might not have known that well.
Yeah.
And I'd put them in under-23s and then hopefully they start playing. As they get to 24-year-old, if they're any good, keep them and move them on to championship or challenger teams, and then keep building the under-23s with more youth players coming in. It was a good strategy. I think it was really good.
It is a good strategy, yeah. I think that is a good strategy to buy youngsters, definitely. But I think you need to concentrate on your first sort of 5 players, first of all, for each team.
I think
make sure you've got a strong team, and then maybe have a few youngsters.
You need the money to be coming in, so you need to your rare team. If you can get the rare threshold, or even wins on the rares, even a card every week. That you can sell for maybe 20, 30 quid, and then you can buy 2 or 3 decent yellow up and coming players.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, yeah.
I think the reason I went back to rares as well is because when I thought about buying young players, I was thinking limiteds, but they're not worth anything. I may as well wait until they make it into the team and then buy them, because what's the point of buying for a quid and then wait until he gets really good and then he's worth 2 quid? It doesn't make sense. Maybe doing it with the rares, it might work out if you buy them when they're younger as rares.
Yeah, I suppose it was a bit more beneficial before, wasn't it? When the prices were a little bit higher, you could probably still pick them up fairly cheap. But then if they broke into the first team, the prices spiked, didn't they? To like, I don't know, 30, 50 quid maybe. And then if they got really good, a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, the other strategy I've had in the past was goalkeepers. I went to goalkeepers for quite a while, and I must have had, I don't know, 50 goalkeepers, 60 goalkeepers that were up and coming.
Yeah.
And Matt Bride Ace was a good one for listening to for goalkeepers.
Yeah.
So I was bending his ear a little bit about who the good ones are and trying to bring them in. And then, they weren't playing, they weren't getting in the team, some of them. And I'd sell them on. And now when you look back again and you think, look at Mantle now. We got him at a good price and sold him on and that. And now he's playing all the time. So it's really hard. It's frustrating that you can get them, but they're not playing. And then suddenly they take off and you've missed out. And it's like,
oh, no, it happens all the time.
I'm always changing my mind. That's a big problem. So if you are getting into this game now, I would keep one strategy and stick to it.
Definitely. I agree with that. And goalkeepers at the minute as well are really important, I think, in your team. To get that clean sheet really just makes the difference between your team winning or losing, I would say. It's really important to have a quality keeper who makes a lot of saves, gets clean sheet. Because if they concede 2 or more.
But I mean, also, it's like the goalkeepers for training. I sometimes now look at my training now, and I've put like 5 or 6 teams in for training. Must have been 5. I've only got 5, because I bought an extra one again, another extra one. And I put them on for training. Then I thought, no, I need to swap these players around and move them on. So obviously your training gets cancelled. So it was a waste of time me doing that. Lots of points there. But yeah, my mind is a minefield, mate. It goes all over the place, looking at different things rather than that one strategy that I should be sticking to.
It's hard to focus on one strategy and stick to it, isn't it? Like you say, especially with Sorare introducing so many different competitions as well recently, which is a good thing. But and
there's so many bargains, isn't there? There's so many bargains.
There is, yeah. It's just tempting to buy them all, isn't it, at the minute? But yeah, I think the European prices will go up, so it is probably a good time around now to get some of those European players. Yeah. Okay, so how do you stay up to date with player performances and news in order to make informed decisions for your Sorare team?
Yeah, I have quite a lot that I chuck up. I'm just looking up here now, and I've got the play sharper. So I always check and play sharper. I know some of the times it's wrong, isn't it? But most of the time it's pretty spot on.
Yeah, it is.
Sorare data, you can't live without Sorare data.
Oh, definitely not.
Because even all my videos are based around Sorare data, because all the facts are there, the figures are there. You can see the prices. So yeah,
and it's good visually as well. Yeah, it's good visually, isn't it? Sorare data, especially
definitely.
For videos.
Yeah, you can see you can see within seconds about who's going up or down, what the prices are, what the past performances are. You can get the basic one, which is okay, but the first thing I did was to buy the subscription on it, because I look at so much and I love facts and figures and that. So I always get that.
Me too.
What was the other ones? Yeah, flash scores, of course. Just for scores coming in, you can see them quite quick, because you can look at just live scores and see scores coming and stuff. But and look at so much information on the players and when they played and that.
They've started having ratings on there now as well, haven't they, on Flash Score, I've noticed.
I did notice
bit like
that. So it is getting a bit
SofaScore.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah. And SofaScore is
Like
another one that I look at.
definitely.
I
That's
always
good
watch
for the
that.
stats, yeah. And the
Yeah.
ratings on
What else?
there usually align quite well with the Sorare scores as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've got Sports Gambler that I look at for injuries.
Yeah, I use
So
that. Yeah, I use that
yeah,
one.
you can look down there and see any player, look at any team, well, near enough any team,
Yeah,
and see who's out and why they're out and how long they're out for. So that's really, really good information. That
definitely.
I'm just looking down at what I watch as well because I've been trying to find things that watch German football. It's really hard. I've asked on Twitter and that, and there's a few results come back.
Yeah.
But I think that live football is it 247 Sport. I
Oh
started to
yeah.
go onto that, and it was decent. It had like English commentary, and that was really good. It does cost. I think it was like 20
Yeah.
quid a month or 10 quid, but it's nearly every single game near enough.
Oh,
Is there any you watch then?
I can't remember what it's called now, but there's a site that has like Dutch football on that's totally free to
Yeah, is
use.
that Mola? I took that onto Twitter and said people should be watching this Mola, and it had like all the top Dutch games, some Portuguese games, a couple
Oh
of
right.
Italian Serie B.
Oh no, I've not
Um,
seen that one. I'll have to check that one
yeah,
out.
it's quite good, and it's an English commentary as well, so it's
Oh
quite good to
right.
have. Quite
I'll
useful.
have to check that one out then. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Okay, so how do you approach your player scouting on Sorare? Are there any specific metrics or factors you consider when selecting players for your team? So any particular stats that you look for, really?
Yeah, it depends on the strategy I'm playing at the time.
Yeah.
Depends what day it is.
Yeah.
Obviously, when they were under 23s, I used to go into Sorare data and I'd click the scout. Now, I do it different to a lot of people. Like Free Tip Scout will look at, is it card finder or player finder? Whereas
Right.
I look at player rankings. So I go down there and I look at, I put in the parameters I want, which league they're in, under 23s normally as well.
Yeah.
And I always look at floor price because I think, and all my videos do this as well. So if you've watched any videos, you'll see on there how I do it.
Yeah.
And then I can look down at just like if I want an L15, I just look at the L15s and rank them in that, or I can look at the prices and rank them in that.
Similar to me, really. Yeah. Similar to
It's
me.
just a really quick way of looking. And then once you've found, you can make a short list of them, like a watch list of the players you're looking at, and then you can really delve into them and look at them. Go onto Google and look at the Wikipedia page and stuff and what they're doing and where they're at and where they've come from, and transfer, go into the transfer news. And that's how I scout basically.
Yeah.
It's really good. Really is good.
Similar to me, really. I do like to look on SofaScore as well and look into the actual stats of the games, how many passes they're doing and that sort of thing. I like to look at all that sort of thing as well.
I don't go on there enough, I should go on there a bit more.
Oh, yeah, it's
Lots
really
of my
good,
videos
really
are on
useful.
there.
Yeah, they are as
I
well,
think,
yeah. You get a lot of highlights as well on there, which is good.
Yeah,
On the
and I think a lot of
SofaScore.
my videos, I look at them, but when I'm scouting just normally now, it's something I sort of miss out, and maybe I should look at a bit more when I'm scouting for myself off screen and stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, I always like to look at the stats on SofaScore as well, make sure they're getting plenty of passes, looking at their interceptions, key passes, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, bit of a stat nerd.
I am as well. Football manager guys, aren't we?
I think we all are on Sorare. I think you need to be, don't you? Okay, so are there any specific players or clubs you believe are undervalued or overlooked on Sorare?
Well, I mentioned it a couple earlier with Tobias Kemp and Clement.
Yeah.
I think one guy I really like at Paderborn is Muslija. I don't know if that's how you say it, Muslija. Yeah, really, really good player. And I've watched him so many times now. We're watching the German football all the time. I think I'm trying to think how he plays. He's a bit like Taj Savanier. Remember him in the French league? He's a bit like that. He's a little stocky guy, low centre of gravity, involved in nearly everything, and he's really ferocious and tenacious in the tackle and that. Really good player he is.
Right, okay, so that's one. How old is he?
Yeah, another one, and you can see that I'm looking at most second divisions here because that's what my
it seems to be where your
was
knowledge
working for a
is.
while. Yeah. So Marco John is another one. His price went quite high recently when he was hitting like 10 games in a row that were really good. Then he went down a bit, and he's quite low at the moment price wise. I think he's undervalued again because he can just flick and he can have like 5 good games, a couple of bad ones, 5 good games, and he's like that.
Okay, so a couple of theirs, yeah. I'll have to check those out myself after this.
I mean, I still think undervalued players, the likes of Thiago, Foden, Meulenstein, Melly Meulenstein, still well underrated. He went down to £1 at one time.
Wow.
So
That's
He's
really
decent.
cheap.
I think he's back up at
Yeah,
like
he's good.
15
Yeah,
quid, is he?
yeah,
Yeah, he's a
something
good
like that. I
player.
think. Yeah, yeah. There's definitely
What
some
about yourself?
players. I think that Abdelli's looking good at
Who's Abdelli?
Angers.
All right,
They've
yeah.
just been relegated, but
Oh,
that's a good thing, because obviously there's going to be played in the second league now,
yeah. So they
in
still count, don't they?
French League Two. Yeah,
See,
just
now he
trying to.
might come into my vision a bit more now.
Yeah, but you look at his scores. I don't know if you got
What? Yeah,
Sorare
what's he called?
data.
What's his
Abdelli,
Abdelli?
Abdelli. Got some really good scores recently. He's got a long contract with them till 2026 as well.
Abdelli Angers. Yeah, I mean, there's so many good players out there that aren't noticed, and it takes things like the videos and that to look at them. I mean, what a score! L5 was
Yeah,
79.
that's it.
Wow.
He's started getting in the team more recently, but
Yeah,
I've
because
looked.
he's even at
Yeah,
100.
I
He's one
think
to look out for, and sent him in.
definitely now he's going to be in the French League too because he
Yeah,
only
is he going to
signed.
move on? Do you think?
I don't know. He's got a long contract with them until 2026.
Yeah,
He
and
only
he's under
signed from
23
in
to next.
July.
Yeah,
Yeah, so you never know. He might decide to stay there another year or so. Probably won't have a choice but yeah,
yeah.
you never know. Someone might try and snap him up, but he's only really
That's one
just
for me to
started to
look
get
into.
in. Definitely, I think
And his
he
floor
could be a
price is only
monster.
10. Yeah,
Yeah,
10 quid for that.
I think he could be a monster
That's worth
next
a risk,
season.
isn't it?
Stats are looking good as well on
That's a,
SofaScore. I've looked at all of them; they're looking brilliant. Loads
yeah.
of passes a
I have to
game,
snap
loads of
him up
key
quick before
passes.
anyone else hears this.
So yeah, he's the one that I think's looking good. He's actually one that I've had on Ultimate Champions as well for
Yeah, you know what?
quite
I've never even seen
some
him
time.
before. I've scouted and I've not seen him, maybe because his scores were not that great in the past, and suddenly the last 5 or 6 games, boom, he's flown, hasn't he?
Yeah, definitely is. So he's one for next season. If he stays at that club for next season, then I think he's going to totally boss the French League
Yeah,
too. He's going to be good for the All Star. So one to
yeah,
keep an eye on there.
yeah, he's got 4 decisives in the last 4 games, 2 assists, one at
Yeah,
Monaco, one at Marseille as well.
yeah. Is his all round scores good as well? Generally,
Apart from the Marseille game, oh my gosh, look at that. Against
yeah.
Monaco, he got a 41.5 for his all-round score.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a beast next season.
13 or 20. Yeah, and he's still young enough, isn't he? So could be in the under
Yeah,
23 team. Good
still
spot
young,
that.
still young. Yeah, so
Good
hopefully he'll
spot.
stay at that club. So it could be a good one. That right. So
Yes.
then, so how do you navigate the Sorare marketplace then and the player auctions? Do you have any tips for beginners looking to get involved? And do you know anything about? Do you do much trading, that sort of thing?
Trading was my big thing when I first ever started. I was trading non-stop. I didn't even play SO5 because
Right.
when you start off, I only had a small budget when I started of like 300 quid.
Yeah.
So I couldn't buy anyone because even at the crap players as they are now, or the low
Yeah.
players, I couldn't even afford them. So I got 300 quid and I started buying up off quite slow. But of course, in them days, the market was a bit better, so it was going up slightly, so you could make a bit of a profit.
Yeah, you could.
And I made loads of profit, and I took about 2.5 grand out in the first, I don't know, 4 months, 5 months. Yeah, but I took that out, and then I sort of played with all that money. Now I'm 200 or 300 quid.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, trading. I mean, I was one of these who thought I've got a player who's not playing at all. I'm going to lose a bit of money on him now. So what? Because he's not playing, his value's going to go down anyway. So I just jumped onto the next one, who I thought, his price might go up because he's playing quite well. So I didn't care if I lost a bit of money on each one, on each trade, just to get onto the next one because I knew they'd make me money. So
yeah, that makes
that's
sense.
how I used to do it.
Makes sense. So is there any strategies that you use when you're buying players on auction then? Any particular strategies you use? Do you try and bid during the midnight?
It's hard because I thought when they brought that new one out, the new way where you could bid your highest bid, and then keep climbing up bit by bit. But if everyone puts the highest bid, and it just jumps straight to your highest bid that you put in, doesn't it? And you sit there for 3 days waiting for it.
That's it. So I suppose that makes it a bit easier. You don't have to get up at 3 a.m. Did you ever do that? Did you ever do that?
I don't know. If I want a player, what I'll do is I'll look down when they are, and if it's like an hour, I won't bid until like the last half hour or so, just to get involved at the last half hour.
Yeah, that's what I try and do. But sometimes I can't resist because I always think if I'm gonna bid now, someone else is gonna bid higher before the auction ends. So I try and do it right near the end of the auction. But sometimes I can't resist putting a bid in before then.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a bit different now because I think most of the buys now are going to be at auction, aren't they? Because most people are waiting for the auctions because people are doubling up on the price of the card now.
Yeah.
So you might get a player worth £10 and they'll put him up for sale at like £30 or something.
Yeah,
So you're not
yeah.
going to pay that for him. But
No.
even auctions are getting more expensive, and I wonder if that's why they wanted to do it. We all complained that the prices were low, so this is a way of getting them up, I guess, or the prices
Yeah,
up.
yeah, definitely, yeah.
But it's hard to try and beat something in the auction now because it goes way past the actual price you can get them on the secondary market. Because they all
Yeah,
want that
yeah,
extra bonus
instantly,
now,
yeah.
the XP. They want him
Yeah.
for being the first card and the first person to own it. So that's why they're all going auction. The prices are flying up now, aren't
They
they?
are, they are. It's working. It's working in a way, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Do you use Discord at all then? Do you ever use Discord to contact other
I,
managers if you have to buy in one?
you know what? I went on there to start with, and I was chatting non-stop, and that's how I did all my sales when I first started. Because there
Yeah,
weren't that many people on it at the time. It was like you could talk. It was a reasonable chat basically. But nowadays,
yeah.
you go in there, people are valuing the players at like 4 times more than they're worth, and expecting you to pay it. But when they want to buy one off you, they're expecting to get it 4 times less than what you've got it up. So
I
I'm a
know
fair,
that's it, isn't it?
I'm a really fair guy. If you've ever done a trade with me, you'll know that I give
Yeah,
you more than I get,
yeah,
basically, a lot more than I
yeah,
get. So
yeah,
it's always a fair trade. Every single trade I've done, I've been decent. And I lose out. However, it's because I want to move on to the next player with less hassle.
yeah.
So I don't use Discord as much now.
No, I sometimes get people messaging me like saying, "How much on this player, bro?" but,
Bro.
but even when my card's like at the lowest price on the market,
Mm,
they still expect it lower. They're always trying, but
yeah.
I suppose if you don't ask, you don't get, do you?
Well, I mean, a lot of them used to get in touch with me and say, "What's your best price in this card?" And I say, "Well, what's it up for sale for?" And they'd say, "Like, I don't £20." So, well, that's my best price, isn't it? And
Yeah.
so, hard,
That's it.
hard.
Sometimes I just ignore him.
Yeah.
So have you formed any online communities or joined any leagues with other Sorare managers? How has the social
I
aspect of Sorare enhanced your experience?
it depends what day it is again. Some
Yeah,
days I'm all right, and I love chatting. I'll talk football non-stop, 24 hours a
yeah,
day,
yeah,
which the wife hates. But some of the groups can get to a point where you're hearing the same thing over and over, or people are asking certain questions that you've heard thousands of times, and in the end you just switch off a little bit.
yeah.
Um, but I joined up when I first joined up. I was with Matt Bride Ace. I joined his group, his WhatsApp group,
Oh,
and I
yeah,
still go
yeah,
in there now and again. Sometimes I'll pop in and then I'll come out again for a few months, go back in. Um, but normally I'm not great for the groups. I don't love being in these group things like the Discord. It used to be good, but now it's just too much. There's too many people saying the same thing all over the time. So
yeah.
uh,
There can be
yeah,
so many notifications as well on your phone, can't they?
and you end up
I've already
turning them
got
off and then
enough.
missing the
Yeah,
conversation. Yeah,
yeah,
so it's
yeah.
it's hard. But
That's good.
yeah, that's the only one I've been in really. The Matt Bride one. I did set my own WhatsApp group up, but when I got like over 100 people, I just couldn't. There was just too much going on and
Too many,
work and everything.
yeah.
I couldn't sort of cope with it, so I
Keep
had to
up with it.
cancel that.
Yeah. And you've just joined mine as well, of course. Just thought I'd mention that one.
Yes, of course.
The Telegram group, if anyone wants to join that.
Which is going to grow and grow and grow. So you might see me slope out
Yeah.
eventually. But
It's gonna
yeah,
get too probably get too big word that one. Um,
yeah, they are good though, aren't they, Adam? Groups like are
yeah,
good for, especially for new players coming in. It's worth getting in there because you get experts like Matt Bride and some
yeah,
have joined with Quinny and stuff, and
yeah,
there's things they come out with that you probably miss, or when there's an
yeah,
update, you don't quite know what the update is. I always end up going on YouTube and looking at Quinny's stuff or Nelly's stuff,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
and see what the new thing is that's been brought out. But groups haven't really got time for them, to be honest. Not enough.
No, no. Okay, so what are the most valuable lessons you've learned then from playing so rare?
Remember your family. With videos going on and groups going on and Twitter and trying to keep up with the transfers, and
All
it
the
takes a
scores
lot of
coming
time away,
through.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah, it
takes a lot
does.
of time away. And you're trying to watch games. Saturday and Sunday, it's like doors shut, games are on, and I think I've got a family. I need to go and see my family.
Yeah.
So remember that. Try and get a good balance between the two.
That's it. That's definitely good
Yeah,
advice
definitely.
there. Yeah, I'd agree with that one.
What about yourself?
Lessons of most valuable lessons as a Sorare manager. I'd
They're
say
probably the same, to be honest.
probably don't give in to FOMO. Don't just buy someone just because they've had one good game or something like that. I think
Yeah,
that's one of them. Don't sell too early. If your players have had a few bad games in a row, don't start selling because the next game he'll probably score a hat-trick or something.
Yeah, this is my problems.
That's it, yeah. Try and keep hold of your cards if you can. If ones that you've got faith in, keep hold of them. If they have a few bad games or a bad run of form, don't just sell them. It's probably the worst time to sell. Yeah.
100% agree with that. And I still do it now, even today. Sitting out today, and I'll sell some players because when you sort of you don't get bored, but you think I need to change something just for the sake of changing it, and you go and change something, and then you think, why did I do that?
Yeah,
that's a big mistake that I've made, and still
it happened to me on fantasy football this season. Going a little private league with a few of my mates. I was top pretty much all season. Wasn't really doing much to my team. I stuck with a Newcastle back three. I had a back three in Newcastle. Obviously, they was doing fantastic. So I was top of the table all the way through the season, probably up to about a couple of months ago when I decided to start doing transfers. Started to do some transfers, and that's when it went wrong. The players I bought in did rubbish. The players I took out did brilliant, and I ended up finishing fifth. I ended up finishing fifth, out of the prize money, which was the top three. So it's same sort of theory as Sorare, really. If a player's doing bad, don't just sell them. Don't give up on them. Keep playing them. They'll eventually have a good game. If they're quality players, they'll eventually come good.
See, that's the hard thing, because you always hear this zig when people are zagging. So when someone's on top of the game, you want to go for the player that was top, that has just crashed. That's the one to go for, because he's going to come good again.
Yeah.
Always like that, isn't it? And I always make that mistake.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, then. So, as a Sorare manager, then, what advice would you give to someone just starting out in the game today?
It's funny because I'd say get on some groups. Get into groups like your own.
Join some groups,
and try and find things. Go on Discord. Go onto all these websites we just mentioned. Go and study the players before you buy, because when money's really tight, you want to do more study. You've got to try and see what this player's all about, and even study the background, where they've been, who they played for academy wise and things, and just go and look at them, because it makes it more fun as well. I find out about players I never even knew about. And that's why I do them videos on things like Andorra, because I didn't know Andorra players that well. I've looked on there and I thought, he's a good player. And I've looked into the history and stuff. And there's so many teams like that, and there's always a gem in one of them teams that you can get for really cheap.
Yeah, because they're so under the radar, aren't they? Not a lot of people know about them. They're cheaper, aren't they? So obviously the Premiership players are all a lot dearer than the other players, but that's because everyone knows who they are. But you can get some of the same quality.
I tried to do it on that last video where I was showing, you can buy this massive team and they were like £500, or you can buy this team just by comparing players with the same scores or higher scores, and you could get it for like 70 quid.
Yeah.
I was like, you'd go for this one at 70 quid, wouldn't you? When you've got no budget, that's probably the best to go for.
Yeah.
I think on Sorare data, you can compare players, can't you? You can look at one and then put, is it similar players?
Yeah.
When you scout the player, you look at similar players, and it comes out with the players at all different prices, but with the same scores near enough.
Yeah. So it's really that's a good feature to use, definitely. That is a good feature to use.
Not used enough, I don't think.
No. I think there's quite a lot of features on Sorare data that are not used enough, to be honest. There's so much on there, isn't there?
I have to keep going back and watching. Yeah, I'd listen to podcasts and go back and watch other videos from Sorare data. Is it Ledinho? And I go and watch them again, because he's explaining all about how you use these. I mean, even now I can't do this. Even the team building bit. What's it called? Football lineup builder.
Oh yeah.
I'm just trying to look at it now, and you think, what are all these things on here? The pick scores, that rated at E or triple
so
E.
So much stats, isn't there?
Yeah, it's all over the place, mate. I just prefer, is he a good player? Yes, he is. And then look into the background and see if you think he's good or not.
Put him in.
Again, the day that you leave someone out because he's got a bad score on Sorare data is the day he goes and hits a hat-trick or something.
That's it. That's what happens normally.
Yeah, it's like the lottery, isn't it? You take a number out and then it wins.
You always get a notification of someone scoring who's in your training lineup.
Yeah, tell me about it, yeah. It puts you in a bad mood for the day.
Okay, then. So, what's your plans then for your Sorare gallery then going forward? What's the strategy going forward then? I know you said you were maybe looking to get more this week. What's the strategy this week?
No, this week I'm trying to still get my threshold team. I'm going to try and keep these 5 to 7 players in my threshold for rares.
Yeah.
And try and build them up. I mean, and the limiteds, I'm going to try and build good teams in limiteds. Only a few. Start with a couple. Any winnings that I get, I'm going to put into the limiteds, I think. And then eventually, I'm thinking, do I go into like a super rare? Because you see, there's not many people
Oh,
going for super
really?
rares, is there? Yeah, when you've got your rares, you can go semi. Is it the pro one?
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Rare
yeah,
pro. So you
yeah.
only need like the two. I mean, you can enter now with 5 rares, can't you? However, you're not going to win much, are you, with 5 rares?
No,
So to have them
to
two
be
super
honest,
rares,
yeah, to be honest, I've been using rares in the rare pro all the time. I've only
yeah,
got one super rare, but it's a rubbish player that I wish I never bought.
yeah.
I think it's called I don't know if you're pronouncing it right, probably not, but I think it's called Sorare. It's a defender for a Dutch team. I can't remember. They're relegated anyway. Zulte.
Oh yeah, Varrigan, something
Yeah,
Varrigan. Yeah.
he's been they're being relegated now though, so that's the only super I've got. But I've
So
just
what are you going to
been
do?
well, I'll just keep him.
I was going to say you're going to hold him
I
until he
just hope he
moves.
gets a move or something. Yeah, I think he's only about 26. So
Yeah,
yeah, there's no point in selling him now. I don't know how much of a worth. I've not even checked. Probably like
yeah.
20 quid.
Oh
But
really?
yeah, I've not checked, but I'll just keep him for now. But he's the only super rare I've got. But in the rare pro, I've always played rares, and
Yeah.
I have won quite a
I
lot
have
in
to
the
look at
rare
it.
pro. If you've got a good quality rare card that's similar to some of the super rares that are played in that division, so because I'm
Yeah.
lucky enough to have Douglas Santos, first ever mint
Do you?
of Douglas
Yeah.
Santos rare, which I bought on auction like 3 years
Yeah.
ago now. Yeah, I've got
Wow.
him. So it really, he's probably overpowers quite a lot of the super rares that are played in that division, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because obviously he
It
scores
might be
like
worth doing.
70 every week, pretty much, doesn't he?
Yeah, it might be worth doing. Just getting like, I don't know, if we get some money and chuck some into just a super rare. I mean, I did
Yeah.
venture into them once, but I only got. I went for one player and I bought Marco Kana.
All right.
Remember when Adrian Treble got injured?
Is he a young player or not?
Yeah,
A
he was
young
like the
player?
wonder kid
Yeah.
on Football
Yeah,
Manager
I
and that,
thought he
wasn't he?
was
So
young, yeah.
yeah, I went for Kana when he was young and up and coming, and I thought he'd be playing for them every single week, and he didn't get in. And then Treble came back. Adrian Treble came back,
Oh yeah.
and so he didn't get his place. He lost out, and then Treble got injured for like a year. And I thought, yes, Kana's coming in,
Yeah.
so I bought him super rare. About
Yeah.
I think it was 500 quid or something, and I thought he'll be
Oh,
worth like 2.5 grand by next year. And
yeah.
then he got injured.
And then he got
It
injured.
was
And the
like 2 weeks
prices
later he
come
got
down.
injured. Yeah, out for age. I just got rid. Got rid. I thought, don't do it
Oh
again.
god.
Don't do it.
Yeah, I think the super yeah, the one I got, that defender, I think it was £200 when I bought him. I
Yeah,
thought that was a bargain, but probably not now.
yeah. I mean,
Um
with prices when they crashed as well, everything went down, didn't it? And yeah, we'll
yeah,
not talk about that.
that's it. So have you ever entered the Rare Pro with just your rares then? Have you ever tried it with just your
No,
rares? No,
no, never been
no,
into it, and
no.
it's something it's something I thought about, and then I looked at the limited to keep dragging me back in for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But I have my rares, and I think I could buy like a really good 2 teams with that rare there. So
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
keep getting.
yeah,
I've got to stop. I've got to stop doing that and just think rares are for getting the money, limiteds are for what
yeah,
you get with the money. That's what I've got to do. So
yeah. So in the rares at the moment, you just concentrate on the threshold.
yeah, I
Yeah,
basically I had like 11 players at one time,
yeah,
and I managed to put 2 teams in, one second division that did really well, like I say.
yeah.
But of course, my goalkeeper is massive amount of money, so I've got Ethan Horvath, and I don't know what's going to
Ah,
happen with
right.
him now. Whether
No,
he goes back to Forest or he goes on loan at Luton, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with him. So price might go up or down depending on the move. So I've got to wait out on that one.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I've got me one team for that.
So, is there any improvements or new features you'd like to see on So Rare that could enhance the gameplay?
I think it's a bit in the future. However, I
Mm.
would like to see all the games being played. I know it's a hell of a lot on licensing and all that stuff, but it'd be nice to see the games on there, wouldn't it? Like one
Yeah.
place for
Oh, yeah,
everything.
yeah. I think someone mentioned that on
Yeah.
a podcast
I think
what I was
Quinny's
listening
mentioned it
to.
in the past, and
Yeah,
it would be a great feature, wouldn't it?
that
And all
would
the scores at the side and that as well as it's going on, that'd be good.
it'd be
But
fantastic, and it'd be good if some of the YouTube content creators, like you and me,
yeah,
would be able to use some of the highlights in our videos. That'd be good.
it'd be good if you didn't get all these copyrights against it.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah. Well, we don't mention that on here.
but I
Yeah,
think
definitely. I think that.
it's not a massive dream, that is it? It could happen because I think So Rare at the moment. I still think, and I keep saying it on Twitter, we're in the early stage. I think of So Rare, and
Yeah,
I think it's going to be a household name. Maybe 2 years time or so, everyone will know what it is. Because at the moment,
yeah, yeah,
you tell people about it, and it's hard to get them because of the crypto thing. And now
yeah,
they are getting rid of
definitely.
that, or not getting rid, but they're making so you can do fiat only. And I think a few of my friends might come back, but as in come back into the football scene.
Yeah.
After Index happened, they sort of said, "No, I'm not getting involved in anything now."
Yeah.
So that was hard, but I think
Yeah.
it's still early. So I think in a few years' time they might do something like this, and it's going to be massive. I think so. Still think it's going to be massive.
Oh yeah, I do definitely. I think that the new wallet feature is definitely a good step in the right direction.
Attract a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But I think even crypto in the future is probably going to be a bit more mainstream. A lot more people know about it, won't they? In maybe 10 years. But obviously that's a long
it's all over the news and everything now, isn't it? Crypto.
Yeah.
Centralized banking and stuff. So
that's it. Did you know much about crypto before Sorare?
Nothing. No. Absolutely. And when I first joined, this is what put me off joining at first, because I was on Football Index and I saw Quinny moved to that. Quinny moved on to Sorare and he started doing them little videos with the rocket in the background and the and the Earth going round and that.
Oh,
and I thought I watched and I watched the first ever ones that he did on Sorare. I thought that looks brilliant, but so complicated. And then they mentioned crypto and I went, nah, that's me out of it. I just turned it off. For months and months I turned it off.
Just because of the crypto side,
I didn't understand crypto. I'm an older person, so trying to learn crypto was a nightmare.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until when the index bust and went bust and that and went, I thought I've got to do something now. So I looked back into it at the time, and it was. Do you remember Christopher, who used to do videos on Football Index? He used to do like the like you're thinking about doing, a weekly sort of one. What players are going to perform this week? He was an Irish guy, Christopher, and he messaged me and said, "Get into this." And I tried, but then he got hold of Mark McBride and said, Wakey's trying to get into this game. Can you talk him through it? So Mark actually taught me through how to join up, how to do my wallet and stuff. Really great guy, really helpful in that. So if there's any new guys out there now, go and have a chat with him.
Yeah. Okay, then. So, final question. So, what are your thoughts on the overall growth and popularity of Sorare? Then I think we've gone into that a little bit there as well. And how do you see the future of the game and its impact on the broader fantasy football landscape? Do you think we'll be taking more of the customers from the traditional fantasy Premier League?
I definitely think that. I mean, we've seen a few come over, haven't we, now?
Yeah.
And I think they had to give them stuff to get them over here, I think. It seemed like they were giving them players and stuff to start. But it's a good thing because, they're going to make it well known. People are going to start watching it. They already had loads of followers on the FPL. So to come over to this now and start pushing this out, like I say, I think you end up with millions of managers, whether it be all football or part the American games and all that, the American sports. But I can see it's only been early, and the more and more people that they can grab in, even the FIFA players, the guys who play, is it FIFA Ultimate? I don't play FIFA, so
the Ultimate Team, where you have to buy the cards. And
stuff, where you buy and sell, that one. So
but then they go to nothing, don't they? After the season, they're worth nothing when the new game's out. But
I mean, when I put my Twitters out, you'll see that I always put Football Manager 23 and I put FIFA 23 because I'm trying to grab a few people to come and notice what the game is. Even if you see one tweet and think, "What's this?" This guy keeps going on about this. What is it? So hopefully you can get them. If all the football management guys came over, because it's pretty much the same, isn't it? It's the same as Football Manager in a way.
Yeah, it is. Yes, yeah.
I'd like 11 aside, but I'm all right with SO5. But SO11 would be really good, wouldn't it? Like
that
Mega
would
D.
Be good. It would be good. Yeah.
More cost, isn't it? But it'd be good if you could play either game. You could play SO5 or SO11 or the SO8s like Mega do as well.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think that'd be good. Do you think it'd be harder to win those? Would be more players in the team make it harder to win? Would it be a bit more?
Yeah. I mean, again, with people like me, we'll talk about Wales again, saying that they'll win everything, but they win it now, so it doesn't really matter, does it? Try and concentrate on what you can win.
That's it, yeah. And it'd be more cards, wouldn't it, as well? The people that need more cards, so it should help the prices short term, I guess.
Yeah, I would think that. I mean, they were talking about another scarcity coming out again, weren't they? When they get big. I can't remember what it's going to be, but...
Oh, right.
Yeah, it was just a thing in the background that I'd heard.
No,
not now, it's not going to happen now, but when they get more managers, they're on about a more scarcity. So imagine if you've got rares, and then they bring another scarcity out. The rares are going to be valuable, aren't they? But super rares even more so.
Yeah, super rare will be, uniques even more so.
No won't be many playing.
Okay then, so we'll go on to our little game then that we've got lined up here.
All right.
Guess the Card Game, then it's called. I've called it.
Oh,
Took me ages to
okay.
think of that name. So I've picked out a Sorare player. You just need to try and guess who it is
Right.
within 60 seconds.
60s unclosed. Right, okay.
All right. So you can obviously ask me his age and stuff like that, and nationality, and I'll just either say yes or no.
Okay, I'll try.
All right.
Right.
So,
Right, here we go.
right, I'll start the clock
Okay.
now then. So 60 seconds
Yep.
and see how he gets on. Right, go for it then. Start asking some questions.
Right. Position. Is he goalkeeper, defender, midfielder, forward?
You have to say you have to guess.
Oh,
Is he a
goalkeeper.
midfielder? No.
No. Defender.
No.
Midfielder.
Yes.
Oh, it's the most that there is, isn't it? Is he under 23?
No.
Oh, right. Okay. What nationality is he? Can I ask that?
No.
Oh, can I ask that? Right. Okay.
No.
Is he in the top champion side of things?
Yeah, he's one of his players in the Champion Europe, yes.
So he's a top 5 league then. Is it France?
No.
Is it England?
Carry on, no.
No, Germany.
Yes.
Germany. So he's German. Right. Okay.
Plays for the
top
champions.
League. Is it Kimmich?
It is. Well done.
It's
2 seconds left on the clock as well.
Hey.
So well done. There you go.
You said it wouldn't be too hard, so
yeah. Well done. That was fantastic.
Here, so.
I did help you a bit there, didn't I, by saying the champions, but
yeah,
sure you've got knowledge of German football as well, eh? That probably helps you.
Well, it got to the point where I just thought, who do I know that's German and plays in that league? But
yeah,
Kimmich. So. Right.
Well, there you go. Yeah, you did well. You did it. You had about 3 seconds left on the clock. Yeah, 3 seconds left on the clock. So well done. Well done.
Thank you very much.
So well done. So that is all the questions then. But before we just go, do you want to? Is there anything you want to promote?
No, I mean, I think a lot of guys will probably know my account now as Wakey Academy.
Yeah.
You can get me on Discord. Just put Wakey and it's #1309. And on Twitter, I'm at the Wakester2286. So just put Wakey Academy and you'll find me.
And
on my videos,
channel?
you'll see. Yeah, YouTube is just under Wakey Academy. So go and have a look down there. Making a few more as we go as well now.
Fantastic. Yeah. Okay. Well, that wraps up the first episode of the Sorare Assist podcast. We hope you enjoyed our deep dive into the world of fantasy football management and gained valuable insights to enhance your Sorare experience. Remember, this podcast is all about you, the Sorare community. We want to hear your thoughts, stories and questions, so be sure to reach out to me on social media by searching Sorare Assist. Your input keeps the conversation alive. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and leave us a review on your favourite podcast platform. It helps us to reach more Sorare enthusiasts like yourselves and keeps the excitement going. Before we go, a big thank you to my guest today, Wakey Academy. Thanks again for joining. And of course, thank you to the listeners. Can't wait to bring more exciting content in the episodes to come. So until next time, keep trading, scouting, and avoiding those DNPs.